Man, oh man. And I'm crying. The soy boys do not cry. Except Ross. Big skirt. Thanks, Karina. Thank you very much, though. I love your words. As Karina mentioned, I now have the honour of leading a toast to the bride and groom, Roscoe and Georgia. I cannot, however, proceed with this task today without mentioning how beautiful my new sister-in-law, Georgia, looks today. It's not that you usually don't look beautiful, Georgia. Just that today on your wedding day you look especially beautiful. In fact, comment has often been made that Georgia has a remarkable likeness to the beautiful Princess Mary, Queen of Tasmania. I think you'll agree today that Georgia made Princess Mary look decidedly average. And there might be any points in the next 5 years. Roscoe, you scrubbed up alright too. Certainly no Prince Frederick, mate, I had. But you should have known when you chose to have me as your best man that you were never going to be the most dapper, suave and sophisticated male up there on the altar. In fact, with Father Ken and George's dad Brian also playing a big part in today's ceremony, you came in fourth. Actually, there was Brian Cleary, the singer, as well. And there was some bum out in the street too. Really, it was fourth, official. Now, I'm being cognizant of George's run sheet and timetable for today's special event, and having been allocated exactly 3 minutes and 11 seconds for this toast, I must proceed to my official duty of paying tribute to the bride and groom, a job which, may I add, I'm extremely honoured to carry out today. However, I'll start first by saying a few words about the groom, Roscoe. Personal mistake. Roscoe has, in every way, been a fantastic big brother. Actually, he's been a role model, a mentor and a friend. And I speak not only for myself, but also on behalf of Marie and Peter, when I say that we couldn't have asked for more than a brother in Roscoe. I'm delighted today to share in his happiness and to have had the opportunity to stand beside him as his best man. This being well and good, I did, however, for the sake of balance, want to get a personal perspective about Roscoe. And to do this, I went straight to the source code. Whilst you have all just been enjoying hors d'oeuvres and wine, I've been undertaking a highly coordinated secret mission to find out exactly who my brother really is. It came in the form of a randomised survey. Just pick my notes up. That I gathered in the park this afternoon. The responses I received were many and they were varied. And with the time restrictions I mentioned earlier, I actually can't mention all of them here tonight. But as a start, Peter, Roscoe's oldest brother, described Ross in a way that I've never actually heard before. And I quote, "Devastatingly handsome, courageous and fearless." That was his brother Peter. I had to remind Peter that I was asking him about the groom, not the best man. Mossy, you've already been mentioned before, but Mossy, friend and ex-flatmate to Ross, he said this, and I quote, "I feel right here today, Damo. Ross and I were meant for each other, and then Georgia came along and ruined it all. First he steals again my groom, and then he runs away with my barbecue." In a more reverent disclosure, Father Ken told me, and again I quote, "In all the years I've known Roscoe, I honestly thought that God had delivered unto us, through Ross, a message that mankind shall no longer seek to redress the injustices associated with the toxicity and salinity of the earth's fertile soils, but shall instead look to horticulture and agriculture as a means of expressing oneself." I'm not exactly sure what all that means, but I reckon Father Ken might have been into the altar one before that. I then approached our good Mother Jane sitting down here, who took a more favourable view upon Ross. Jane said, "I'm delighted that my second eldest son chose to live only metres away from my front door. And I look forward to sharing 6 out of 7 nights a week in the company of Roscoe and Georgia for the rest of my life." I approached my Uncle Kevin, and through somewhat sniggering lips he revealed that, "Damon, as a senior representative of the Searle and Collins family, I have to admit that we all thought that Ross was perhaps batting for the home team." Yes, mate. All of the Searle and Collins relations thought that Ross was gay. So nothing. I would have liked to have gained the perspective of Ross from his big cousin Dennis. I don't know if you brought that Dennis. Dennis, you in the room we were in? Anyway, it didn't matter because one of Roscoe's best mates, Ray Kelly, told me that he last saw Dennis crying uncontrollably in the restrooms. That's a personal joke. Dennis is a big man. Stand up, Dennis, please. Instead, I asked a group of Roscoe's mates from Bundy how they viewed Roscoe, and they all replied in unison, "A plonker." A plonker? I actually thought that was a bit rich from those who choose to freely live in Bundaberg. I also handed over to the new father-in-law, Brian, to get his initial thoughts about Roscoe. Brian observed a certain level of political correctness and said, "Damo, I'm going to have to plead the Fifth Amendment on that." I said to Brian, "There's no Fifth Amendment in Australia." Brian replied, "Well, I'll just go wherever those plonkers from Bundy said." Roscoe, I'm joking. This is all fictitious, of course. These are just some of the comments that were made about you through my investigations. Most of them, however, reflected the personal sentiments I described earlier. We are all very proud of you and what you have become, as I'm sure our dad would have been. And we are honoured and blessed to be here with you today to celebrate your marriage to the beautiful Georgia. Georgia, you're not off the hook. You're not off the hook at all. Georgia, as we gather here today to celebrate your wedding day, I think we should take a moment just to reflect upon that fateful weekend camping up on the shores of the mighty Murray River, the mighty Murray River. When Kel, Ruth, Tricky Nicky and myself, all of whom are here tonight, when we first floated the idea of Roscoe Bayou and how amazingly far that suggestion has come. I say this with all due respect to your relationship now. But when we thatched this plan to hook you up with Roscoe on the banks of the Murray River, we were actually joking. I dare say that none of us there that day on the Murray, in our wildest imaginations, would have ever thought we'd be sitting here tonight about to hoist our glasses up in honour of your wedding day. But Georgia, as luck may have it, and through the twists and turns of your growing relationship, so wonderfully described earlier by Karina, here we are. And it's truly wonderful. And as we have heard relentlessly over the past 9 months, and in the words of my lovely and Ross's lovely sister Marie, thank God. I thought this day was never going to come. The whole speech has been fictitious. Family and friends, I may well ask Roscoe and Georgia to stand. I ask them to wake up, charge your glasses, and stand as we... Well, then no, everyone sit down. Sorry, the bridegroom. And we'll propose a toast to Roscoe and Georgia. Roscoe and Georgia, May your days together be long and happy ones. To the bride and groom. I will just mention that before I go away, we've received many telegrams this evening, but just a couple that I'd like to mention. Karen and Ian have sent a telegram from Utah, and Michael, Claire and Oscar have sent a telegram from Nottingham, England, and I'll pass all the telegrams on to you later on this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, again, goodbye.